CEO collapsed on the plane a single dad helped, not knowing it would change his daughter's life, miles above the ground. Flight 472 from Chicago to San Francisco hummed through the sky, filled with business people, vacationers, and one tired, single dad named Ethan Cole, in seat 22A. Ethan kept glancing at the tiny drawing in his lap. His 6-year-old daughter Lily had given it to him before he boarded, a smiling stick figure holding hands with a taller one. "Me and Daddy," she'd written. He was headed west for a rare job interview after months of juggling 2 part-time gigs and barely keeping up with rent. It was his last shot at stability. Suddenly, a gasp rang out from first class. "People," murmured. A flight attendant rushed forward. Then the announcement came. "Is there a doctor on board?" Ethan stood. His years as a former paramedic kicked in instinctively. "I'm not a doctor," he told the attendant, "but I'm certified. I can help." She nodded. "Please, come quickly." Ethan pushed past seats and found a woman slumped sideways, pale and barely conscious. Her assistant, wide-eyed and panicked, was holding her wrist. "That's Ms. Sinclair," someone whispered. "The CEO of Sinclair Tech." Ethan didn't care who she was. He focused on her pulse, breathing, and signs of distress. He asked for aspirin, elevated her legs, and calmly instructed the crew on what to do. Within minutes, her breathing stabilized. Her eyes fluttered open, and she squeezed Ethan's hand weakly. When they landed, medics wheeled her off, but not before she looked him in the eye and whispered, "Thank you. What's your name?" "Ethan Cole," he replied simply, thinking nothing more of it. 2 weeks later, Ethan was back in Chicago, folding laundry and eating cereal with Lily. The job he interviewed for, they gave it to someone else. Then came a knock. A woman in a sleek suit stood at the door. "Mr. Cole," he nodded. "I'm Marla, Ms. Sinclair's assistant. She's asked to see you personally." Ethan was flown to San Francisco, confused but curious. When he arrived at Sinclair Tech headquarters, he was led into a sleek office, where the CEO, now healthy and composed, stood, waiting. "I didn't get to thank you properly," she said, smiling. "You saved my life. But that's not the only reason I brought you here." She handed him a folder. Inside, an offer letter. A full-time safety coordinator, position excellent, salary, benefits, housing assistance, even relocation support. Ethan stared in disbelief. "I looked into your background," she said. "Single dad, hard worker, paramedic training. You've been doing everything right. You just needed someone to believe in you." Ethan swallowed hard. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said gently. "You helped me when I was vulnerable. Let me do the same for your daughter." Months later, Lily was thriving in her new school. Ethan had weekends off for the first time in years. And when Ms. Sinclair visited their home one evening for dinner, Lily ran up with a new drawing. This one showed 3 people holding hands, Daddy, Lily, and Miss S. Ethan smiled as he looked at it. What started as a desperate flight for survival had landed him in a new life, one he'd never dared to hope for. All because he stood up to help, and someone powerful remembered. That night over dinner, the mood was light. Ms. Sinclair, Samantha, as she insisted they call her, now laughed, as Lily described her favorite cartoon characters, and proudly showed off her bookshelf. For the CEO of a billion-dollar tech company, she was surprisingly down-to-earth. "You know," Samantha said, sipping her tea, "when I collapsed on that flight, I thought I was done. Burnout, stress, flying all over the world, I had forgotten what real life felt like. Then I opened my eyes, and there you were." Ethan chuckled shyly. "I just did what anyone trained would have done." She shook her head. "No, Ethan, most people would have stayed seated. You acted." Lily climbed onto Ethan's lap, curling into him like a sleepy kitten. "And now," Samantha continued, "you've given me more than just health. You reminded me of purpose. that people matter more than margins. 2 months later, Ethan was fully settled into his new role at Sinclair Tech, coordinating emergency procedures and employee wellness. His past experience in paramedics and logistics made him a natural fit, but more than that, he was finally respected. One afternoon, Samantha asked him to join her for a meeting, but instead of entering a conference room, he found himself in a bright open space filled with books, tablets, toys, and a banner overhead, the Lilly Foundation for Single Parents. "What is this?" Ethan asked, eyes wide. "It's something we're building together," she said. "You said you used to work night shifts while Lily slept on a cot beside you. That broke my heart. No parent should have to choose between working and being there for their kid." He turned to her slowly. "You want me involved? I want you to run it." Ethan's breath caught. "Me? You've lived it. That matters more than any degree." He looked down at the foundation, plans-free daycare for low-income workers, training programs for single parents, after-school tutoring, all of it, because of a choice he made at 30,000 feet. "I don't know what to say. Just say yes again," Samantha smiled. "And this time, not for me but for people like you." A year later, the Lilly Foundation had helped over 600 single parents. Ethan now traveled to cities across the country, speaking on resilience, sacrifice, and what happens when ordinary people are seen. One night, he stood on stage, Lily sitting, front row legs swinging, proud as ever. He looked out at the crowd and said, "I thought helping someone on a plane was a small thing, but that moment gave my daughter a better life." Sometimes, the lives we change aren't just the ones we save, but the ones who watch us do the right thing. Applause rose, cameras flashed, but all Ethan saw was his daughter smiling safe and shining, because one moment of courage had built a whole new future.